Coaldale exists because of the dollars and the foresight of our forefathers. And if we didn't have irrigation here, we'd be just part of the dry Palliser Triangle. With the fortunes that we have from irrigation, we've been able to accomplish a lot of extra things, and we're growing because of irrigation and the abundance of water.
The town of Coaldale is located 7 miles east of Lethbridge and is situated on the main Canadian Pacific Rail line from Medicine Hat to Vancouver. Agriculture is the backbone of the economy as a result of a long line of homesteaders. In 1904, a group of farmers from Illinois, led by real estate salesman Harry A. Suggett, formed the first irrigation company and earned the titles the Fathers of Irrigation.
They came from all parts of the world to this vast stretch of prairie that we call home.
Came to Coaldale in the spring of 1922. It was a small town. There were no pavement, no cement sidewalks. In fact, there was hardly any sidewalks, and the few there were wooden ones. Yes, we got pavement, finally. We had to get out of the mud, and we had to have something that would last. And so we put together a paving crew. I know the people of Coaldale are quite concerned now about the drainage they have in the storm sewer, but in those days, we didn't even have drainage. We just let it accumulate and it soaked away. The streets were mud, and there were times when we would have to leave our car down on the main street because we couldn't get it up to the house. The road was so bad.
The flooding was just not from waters that were accumulating in the town of Coaldale. This drainage basin goes all the way back to Lethbridge, to just by the jail there.
I came in when they had a couple of concurrent 100-year storms, and so that, I think, despite all the good effort of previous councils, Alberta Environment did an assessment and weren't really happy with the state of floodwater management in Coaldale. To prove it wasn't any joke, they put a moratorium on development in Coaldale.
What happened, the system was designed to hold water back for 24 hours at a time on farmers' fields, but the county and others, farmers and that, changed culvert sizes, and it got here a lot faster.
What we did was set the blueprint for what the town has now. The town could not have expanded as it has in the last 20 years without that original drainage system in place.
Current council is working with our administration team right now on the last phase on the southern portion of Coaldale. And once that's completed, that'll give us enough capacity to handle any storm event that Coaldale has historically seen. It's been a major project, and it's for not only ourselves, but for the SMRID and the County of Lethbridge. A good project of cooperation. I just would like to say how fortunate Coaldale is to have the birds of prey. That was part of the drainage project for the town of Coaldale historically to deal with our stormwater. And what the birds of prey have turned into that we have now is amazing, and it's world renowned. And it's something that a lot of people that even live in Coaldale have never been there. And if you were to take the time to go walk through what Colin Weir and his staff and the Birds of Prey Foundation have put together, it's truly amazing amenity that the town of Coaldale has.
At one time that was a slough. You couldn't put housing in there, you couldn't do anything, and it was just sort of a wetland. And through the drainage system and the drainage plans, that was, I think, phase one. That got developed, but I don't think anybody in the beginning could see what it is now. I was there, I couldn't. It's a fabulous facility.
I think we have three really major tourist destinations, and certainly the birds of prey is number one, and you'll never see anything as unique as that in the immediate area. And then number two is we have one of the largest rural museums in Alberta, and some of our artifacts are dating back 12,000 years.
I was mayor when the town bought that and gave it to the museum board. And I remember sitting on the steps with Erna Gertsen,
Pigeons.
begging her, don't buy this. I'll build you a building. She says, Alex, we have a plan. This is what we want. And we don't want your money. And you know, they did the majority of the project just on donated dollars. Every time I go in there, I'm just gobsmacked because I did not see that in those days. I did not see it. So that's just the part of the fabric of this community where people volunteer and just get stuff done.
And then, of course, we have Land O'Lakes Golf Course, which is a unique golf course and very well groomed in that. And we get people from all parts of the country to come and golf here. So we're pretty fortunate to have three major tourist attractions.
With all the commercial and industrial growth town planners have, they've not left out recreation facilities or its service clubs for adults and youth. The Sportsplex is the center of year-round activity with baseball diamonds, a 6-sheet curling rink, a regulation-sized ice arena, and an outdoor swimming pool. Coaldale also offers its residents full utilities, including water, electricity, a newly upgraded sewer system, and twice-weekly garbage collection. The education system in Coaldale is ranked among the top 10 in Canada for its academic achievement, serving the needs of over 2,500 students.
Aside from the hospital, Coaldale's other emergency services include a volunteer fire department equipped with 3 pumpers, a fully equipped rescue van, and 2 ambulances.
We had 2 people in Coaldale that were interested in the fire department. George King and Siebert. We were very fortunate that the town council had borrowed enough money for the water system that they had just developed. There was money left over from the water system, was enough to buy the fire truck from Toronto, and that put us in business.
Coaldale Volunteer Fire Department has a long, long legacy of exemplary service and commitment to the community.
The strategic location of Coaldale relative to Lethbridge, Calgary, and the United States should be a major consideration of industries involved in relocation or expansion. Proposed pipeline locations, coal mine developments, oil and gas explorations, and an agricultural economy point to Coaldale as a community worthy of investigation by industry and investors. Not only is Coaldale eager to grow, but ready as well. There is over 12.4 acres of serviced industrial land available in 0.5 to 1.5 acre parcels. The industrial park is located in the northeast end, near Highway number 3 and the CP rail trackage. Immediately north of the industrial park is a private development of 160 acres of industrially zoned land.
As the town grew, then everything had to grow in place with it.
Coaldale is very progressive. We have staff that are advertising Coaldale all across North America, and they've been successful in bringing business to Coaldale.
I was lucky enough to deal with members of my council that wanted to see the industrial park really take off, and we invested lots of money in the Northeast Industrial Park stormwater plan and did a lot of infrastructure.
I was in on the first purchases of the land and to get that, and there wasn't money and there wasn't grants to be able to do a lot of development on it, and that was a tough go. But I mean, we bought 160 acres, and it was probably one of the best things we did.
I think the growth has been phenomenal in the last 20 years. When I was mayor, I think we're about half the size. I think the industrial growth has been the biggest change. And of course, the residential areas are second to none.
And you can see that it takes a long time to put a thought down here and have some other people agree that that's a good thought.
Coaldale is a very vibrant, dynamic community and has kind of grown into being a different type of a community than it was 20 or 30 years ago.
We're looking at some serious expansions going on from both commercial and residential, with the addition of the new high school and the multi-use rec center. The high school, for instance, is going to be the largest rural high school in Alberta, and they'll be able to have upwards of 1,000 kids attending that school. The town of Coaldale is going to grow tremendously here over the next 10 to 15 years.
We've got an awful lot of amenities here. We've got multiple different religious denominations here, and a good sound-based retail segment here in town.
When people ask me about Coaldale, I always encourage them to go have a look. And it's a great community, good people, and it's a place where you can get involved.
Having lived here as a child and then growing up through those years and going to school here, and it was an agricultural community. It was very close-knit. Now you see it being a very viable, open community. It's come of age, and I foresee pretty quickly that we will probably be a city here.
How's it going? Hello there, Mayor Hahn. Any fine words for the town of Coaldale?
They were brave men and women who traveled the land. When they settled in Coaldale, it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of a town built on hope, and with determination they learned how to cope. With hard work and neighbors who were lending a hand, the farmers were blessed with good crops on their land. Their families grew, and so did the town, till Coaldale was known by many around. Coaldale, my Coaldale, you're the pride of the prairie. You made me a home from wheat to presbytery. I could go to the mountains and be traveling on, but it's Coaldale I want for my daughter and son. 'Cause I'm one with the townfolk who all give their best for a town we call Coaldale, the gem of the West.
They came from all parts of the world.
So Alan, my last question for you then is, what is the secret to living to 103?
Wine, women, and song. Is there another way?